There's 6 athletic skills that you need to master in tennis. One of them is pivoting, the other one is hopping, the third one is transferring, the fourth one is lunging, the fifth one is shifting, and the last one is spinning. Some are much more advanced than others, so when you first start on footwork and learning footwork, it's much better to do the basic pivot moves. So 2-foot pivots, step down pivots, 1-foot pivots, and closed pivots. Those are nice and basic simple moves to start off with, where there's no elevation, so the chances of you mistiming a shot are much smaller. So therefore I would say start off learning footwork doing those 4 pivoting contact moves. Alan from the United States says an area of the game I would love your advice on is how to teach the ready position or athletic stance, and how should a player do a split step. Also, what is the proper timing for the split step? Well, I do this one all the time and I find it's very, very effective, because if people do not have their feet wide enough, it's like the difference between a tractor and a Ferrari. The reason the Ferrari swerves around the road and is nice and low to the ground is because it has a very wide base. So that's the first thing you want to do, is you have to get that wide base. I was lucky enough to work with Nick Bollettieri, probably the most famous coach maybe of all time. And I asked him one question over a beer and I said, what's your number one advice that you've learned after 70 years of coaching? And he says, keep your feet apart. So it is really important to have a nice wide base, and that's how you've got to play tennis. It is the difference between a Ferrari and a tractor. A tractor bounces up and down, a Ferrari's nice and low. So how do I find the perfect athletic base? Put your feet together, turn the foot to the side fence, straighten up. Turn your foot to the side fence, straighten up. Go 45, straighten, 45, straighten. To me, that's that athletic stance that you were talking about. Now I look like a panther ready to pounce. The other thing is, I want to make sure that I'm on the balls of my feet. I'm not standing flat-footed and that my bottom is sticking back. That's my rudder, and I'm leaning slightly forward, so I'm ready to move. So that's the athletic stance. Now let's talk about the split step. Well, the split step, it's kind of like being on a diving board and trying to dive off the concrete part instead of being on the springboard. The springboard, when you hit that springboard and you're doing diving, it's the springboard that gives you the height to be able to do all those different moves up in the air. So I look at the split step as a springboard. It is a springboard to enable me to move out to the ball. Without it, I'm standing flat-footed and I do not get out to the ball nearly quickly enough. So find your base and split step. Now there's 2 types of split steps. There's one which I call a reaction split step, where I must split step and I don't know where the ball's going. My preferred one, which is at a higher level that you see all the pros do, is what I call a flow split, where they get up on their toes and they land on one foot before the other and they flow out to the ball. If they're coming back, they'll do a similar thing. So say they're out in the forehand and they want to go back out to the forehand, they'll do what I call a shift split and shift back out to the ball. So a flow split, when you're moving in the same direction, say backhand, I want to flow out to my forehand. If I'm coming back from the forehand and I want to go back to the forehand, I do a shift split. The difference between those two are they are much more anticipationary split steps, meaning that I've read where I need to move and I've cut down a step by doing either that flow or that shift split. Now, if I was teaching kids the split step, what I would do is get them to do some ready steps, like this. And I would just show them a visual cue. Boom, split step. Ready step, show them a visual cue, split. The next progression is to nearly link it to the contact of the opponent's strings down the other side of the net. So it might be ready steps and they split, boom, when the ball hits the ground. So the kids are doing their ready steps and they've got a split when the ball hits the ground. Now, one of the questions was the timing of the split step. Well, the timing of the split step should be this. As the opponent starts their forward swing, you want to split your feet so your feet hit the ground as the opponent makes contact. So again, I might have all the kids out there in front, they're doing their ready steps, and as I catch the ball, they must split steps. They're doing their ready steps, and they must split as I make contact. So in other words, you've got to start your split step on the forward swing. So when the ball hits the racket, your feet are hitting the ground at the same time. That is the timing of the split step. Right, Ben from the beautiful downtown Australia, down under. He says, an area of the game I would love your advice on is detailing footwork for transition and net play. I already feel the footwork patterns described on the Bailey Method DVD were extremely helpful to baseline play and beyond, but would like to learn more about footwork around the net. So, usually, if the ball's coming down here, I like to do a front foot hop as an approach shot. So the approach shot down the center is that front foot hop so you can move in. This gets you into the net very quickly. Same on the backhand. Notice I'm always getting you to go step out first, keep the weight back, and front foot hop with that kick back. If you really like the front foot hop, well, you might rhythm to the side and come in and front foot hop again if the ball's a little bit wider. Otherwise, you might do what you prefer could be a transfer where you go off your outside foot and approach and land on this foot and go into the net. On the backhand side, again, you might rhythm and do a front foot hop and go in, or you might do the famous Pat Rafter karaoke Tin Henman approach, which I like because the secret to approaching is to slice and keep the ball low, where they actually step down, they make contact and bring the leg in behind, what I call a karaoke step. So front foot hop, transfers, front foot hop, karaoke approach. Let's start on the backhand. Once it gets a bit wider and I want to go in, I'm going to close off my stance. I'm going to hit the approach shot, but this time I'm not going to put my foot in behind because I'm going to continue in this direction. So I'm going to hit the slice, bring the leg around, and then move into the net with a crossover step. Out a bit wider, I'm going to hit more of an open stance on the forehand. So I'm going to cross out to the ball, hit my forward open stance, a lateral hop off this leg, and then move into the net. So it looks like this. Come out here, lateral hop, and move into the net.
We're going to do approach shot footwork in the footwork zone. Let's start off with a front foot hop in the white zone. Kick the leg back and split. Beautiful yard. Front foot hop, right through. Make sure you split. Coming through in the red zone. Running transfer. Lovely. Red zone, transfer, backward front foot, running through. Lovely, Claudine. Lateral hop in the green zone. Lift your knee up. Come back in. Good. Hop to the side. Lateral hop. Coming in. Excellent. Let's go to the backhand. Front foot hop in the white zone. Kick the leg behind. Come and split. Front foot hop. Coming in. Beautiful. Karaoke. Foot in behind. Slice in the red zone. Lovely. And split. Karaoke. Foot in behind. Coming through. Lovely. Transfer on the higher ball in the red zone. Lovely, Yuck. Make sure you split. Transfer in the red zone. Nice. Coming through. Now we're going to slice it. Bring the leg around. Cross back into the court and split. Slicing. Bring the leg around. Down the line. Cross back in and split. Last one. Lateral hop. Bring the inside leg in. Come into the net. Good. Last one, Claudine. Really push it. Lateral hop. Come in and finish. Lovely, girl.
Right, so let's talk about once we get into the net. I come into the net. I'm just going to show you the three most basic footwork patterns on the volley. If you saw the Bryan Brothers DVD, they always talk about when you hit a volley that you move from this foot first. So you don't hit a volley and step here and take your weight out of action. You always want to step out with the foot closest to the ball. If the ball's low, step down and hit a low volley. If the ball's high, step out and transfer from that back foot to the front foot. And if it's wider, well, lunge out to the power move, kick the leg back, bring the leg around for balance and recover. That's the same on both sides. So low ball, step down, high ball, transfer, wide ball, do that power move, bring the leg down and cross back to recover. One of the biggest problems on the volley footwork is people hit the volley and push back. So I always like to make sure that you volley through, keep moving in and split step.